Aloha, Merl Streep. Aloha from Waikiki, Honolulu, Hawaii. It's February 16th, 2008. Out there, you see we have a beautiful day. Not as beautiful as you, however, but it is a beautiful, beautiful day here in downtown Waikiki. And there is the ocean out there. And I am writing to you today because I have a request. Let me hook myself back up here and let me go into my video message to you. First of all, let me thank you for all the wonderful contributions that you have already offered through your terrific acting, your humanitarian efforts with the AIDS Foundation, all of your attempts to wake up humanity in your own way. I consider you a very enlightened woman from everything I've read about you, and just your luminosity that comes out of your soul. Anyway, the other night I had a dream about you in which I was standing on a stage with you. I believe it was in New York City, and you were receiving a tribute for your life's accomplishments. And I sensed that we were on the same wavelength and that perhaps I should try to get in touch with you, which I'm doing today. My name is Thomas Allen Berg, and I am a retired teacher. I retired early from the San Francisco school system. I've been a teacher all of my life in the trenches, so to speak. I taught in the Peace Corps in the Amazon, one of Kennedy's kids, taught in the Teacher Corps, and spent the rest of my teaching career in the public school system. I love children and I love the idea of education, but I discovered, as Neo did in The Matrix, and I'm sure you know already, that the school system, the way it is functioning today, in spite of the fact that there are many incredibly dedicated teachers and administrators and loving parents behind the system, that it's serving right now more as a brainwashing, programming system of mental indoctrination, which is really dumbing down our youth and teaching them to be consumeristic, capitalistic, lemming-like automatons to a system that, as you know, is about as fragile right now as the Titanic was as it was heading for the iceberg in the North Atlantic. We know the systems right now as they're functioning, whether they are the world political systems, the economic system, the corporate system, the social, political, even the religious systems, are not working. In fact, they are leading our beloved planet Earth and our wonderful civilization, leading us to some kind of Armageddon or some kind of World War III. Anyway, as I taught in the public school system, and as I went through years and years and years of dedicating myself to really helping children wake up to their magnificent essence, I discovered that the system kept trying to tie my legs and arms behind my back, and kept trying to muzzle me, and the system didn't want me to really teach the children how to be free thinkers. And so I woke up. I just woke up and I began to look at the system through unveiled eyes, and this is what I'd like to share with you today before I go swimming, because it's a beautiful day here in Waikiki. I wish you were here. We'd have a ball. It's 86 in February, and it is as beautiful as the paradisical mythology says. Anyway, I woke up enough in the system to realize that we teachers and administrators were actually using fear and emotional violence, actual emotional violence, to control our overcrowded classrooms. As much as we loved kids, we were overcrowded and understaffed and underpaid and exhausted. You can't imagine the amount of paperwork in one day when you have 150 students coming through your classes. Anyway, I woke up and I began to realize that instead of training our children to be free-thinking Americans in the true tradition of Thomas Paine and Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King and Gandhi, in the true tradition of people around the world who have been free thinkers and who have always then uplifted the world to its next quantum leap in civilized behavior. I began to realize that the school system as it's set up right now is doing the exact opposite. It was putting our children to sleep. From the time they enter in kindergarten all the way up through high school, 8th grade, and even into the university system, they are trained to fall into line and to become little consumeristic, capitalistic, unquestioning, materialistic zombies who, instead of following their bliss, as I'm sure you did, they were taught not to follow their inner guidance, not to follow their soul, their spirit, not to follow their inner genius, but to follow what they were told to do, to become people pleasers, teacher pleasers, system pleasers, to fall into line and to become, as I said right here in my book, Uncle Tom's Classroom. This is the book that I wrote about my discoveries that I am trying to get out into the public conversation. It is called Uncle Tom's Classroom: How One Public School Teacher Awakened His Students to the Cosmic Super Self Within. And on the back I add, it is time to throw off your chains and set yourself free. Remember the quantum field master you were born to be, because even quantum physics now agrees that each and every one of us, with the power of our minds and our spirits and our souls, with our energies, influence our entire society, in fact, influence the entire world. And so when we teach children to become compliant Uncle Toms that are not allowed to think for themselves, we are dumbing down our country. We are allowing those invisible forces around the world that are coming at to a point of world domination, actually. We're allowing them to do it to us. We are just going home, we're turning on our video games or whatever we're teaching our children to do, and we're allowing this worldwide mind control, invisible dictatorship of a very few to turn the masses into Uncle Toms. In fact, to turn the entire society into a jail with invisible chains. And the invisible chains are the chains of the great systems that are in control. The economic chains, organized religion has chains. The governments have, there are millions of laws now which chain us to rigid behavior, the incredible burden of taxes. All of those are chains, and we of the older generation, the 20th century, we really owe it to our kids to free them. I consider myself a lifeguard for the life force within each of my children. I saw something that only a person who spends their life in the system could see. I saw children come in kindergarten, preschool or kindergarten, with their life force flowing, their exuberance, their joie de vivre, their inner star quality radiating. And over the years I saw that squished out of them as they were forced through fear, through public humiliation, through all of the ways, the A, B, C, D, F system, the parent conference system, all the different ways that children are forced to comply to the norm and to conform to the norm. I saw that about the 5th or 6th or 7th grade, their golden ball of individuality, their inner radiance, was beginning to be squished out of them. Now, not from people like you and I. If you're really smart, if you're athletic, if you're talented, you can make the system work for you. But the majority of the children, the system squashes their individual freedoms and squashes what I call their inborn cosmic super self. Now, I taught in a classroom where I was given the freedom by San Francisco's administrators to allow children to explore their cosmic super inner cosmic super selves, and they became self-actualized, awake, free thinking, brilliant adults today. And so what I'm trying to do is at least open the conversation to the fact that we of the older generation really need to free our children up from becoming Uncle Toms to the system so they can become cosmic super selves, which they're born to be. Thank you, Merl.